My husband and I have been together for 4 years and married for 2. I've been dating him as long as I've known him. I met our best friend, who I'll call M, in high school. He met her in college and she set us up together a few months later. They never dated or anything like that, and my husband was a virgin until we were together. So there was no hooking up either. She also lives within 30 minutes of us, and all 3 of us frequently meet up for lunch/dinner/hangouts. 2 days ago, my husband was taking a shower, and I was browsing his phone. Not for any reason, but we're pretty open with each other. Usually it's just going through each other's YouTube recommendations and making fun of each other for the weird stuff we get. On occasion, he'll receive a text and I'll ignore it, or if it's his family, which it usually is, I'll answer. That night, M texted him. Not thinking anything, I clicked it. What I found was a very weirdly intimacy exchange. I also found out that they text every day, not checking in, but full-on conversations about whatever. While he was in the shower, I was able to scroll back maybe a month through the exchange, if even that. There's no sexting, and I'm not even sure what they do would be considered flirting. I screenshot as many as I could, and then sent them to myself and deleted the evidence from his side. They seem to be the weirdest when starting conversations and end as abruptly as they start. Since then, I've kept our conversations brief. My husband has been working a lot, so I don't think he has caught on to my worrying, but I think he will soon, and I want to confront him before he makes up a story or something. A few examples of their texts, I excluded the emojis, but they use a lot of them. They call each other mommy and daddy, seemingly at random. They call each other king and queen, seemingly at random. Specifics. Husband. Thanks for setting it up. I will suck your weenie. Will suck. This is told in a joking tone, but still gave me a heart attack and is weird. M. I am pregnant with your child. Husband. That's a crazy thing to say. M. I'm gonna make you pregnant. Husband. I don't think I can be boy preggers, thank you very much. M. We'll make it work. No context to this. Husband. You don't like being spit on? Honestly surprising. M. Shocking, I know. M. Send me your selfies and send more than just forehead. Husband. I do send you more than just forehead, thank you very much. Again, unprompted. M. Put those fingers to good use, baby. Husband. Reacted with a heart. M. We need to get matching cringy anime phone screens. Husband. No, D. At the end of a normal conversation, M. Don't tempt me, I'll fall in love so quick. Husband. Reacted with unprompted. M. Anime breasts. Husband. Mommy? Unprompted. Husband. Do you produce slick? M. You don't know? Husband. I don't know. M. I'm surprised. Husband. Help. M. I think you might be alpha. Unprompted. M. Meat is meat, just saying. Husband. Not sure I can agree with this one champ, but in terms of food, I guess. M. Lil bro, just agree with me. Husband. You barely 5 feet tall. M. Older mommy. Unprompted. M. Do you think me would react if I sent you an intimacy toy? Husband. I love you, but do not do that, dog. M. I really want to send you a pocket female genitalia. How else am I supposed to express my kindness to you? Husband. Money. M. Poor in a later conversation than the earlier one. M. I'm sending you one? Husband. M. When I go to Japan, I'll mail you a little something. Husband. D. I think I'm good. M. I want to experience what a pocket female genitalia feels like. Husband. I don't know either and never will. So don't worry, you are not alone. Again, unprompted. M. Sex with man? Husband. Bro. M. You want? Husband. Think. M. What if threesome and he spreads your cheeks? Husband. Good thing I would never have a threesome, else I might be tempted. Husband. Someone would be enjoying that chocolate frosting. Unprompted. M. You don't know how much I love you. Husband. Robot with my face? M. I will do it sooner or later. Husband. Print face and stick on a motor boom. M. Whore. Unprompted. Husband. Tight? M. This aroused sister is begging for context. Husband. Sends a screenshot of what I assume to be an earlier conversation, which reads, "If I say I like and beg for more, will you stop?" Unprompted screenshot of a how-to for making chloroform. M. I want to use this on you. Husband. It's not even a good incapacitatory agent and is just as likely to unalive me as it is to incapacitate me. M. Why don't you engage in my fantasies? Husband. You literally have a boyfriend. M. Unfortunately. Husband. O. M. Reacts with a thumbs down, unprompted. M. I want to fight you. Husband. One-on-one when I have a foot on you is crazy. M. You can't take me. Husband. But you can. M. I think you gay. Husband. I bite. M. Do that and I will kiss you. Husband. Oh. M. Sloppy makeout, Cess? Husband. Yes, mommy, please. Unprompted. M. I want to sell my kids. Husband. You don't have children. M. What if we have children? Husband. Sometimes I feel like our texts need disclaimers. M. I agree, but this is more fun. Husband. Sexu? M. Daddy. On the day he and I went on a date, husband. Just finished inside. M. You gotta give this dirty-minded friend more context. Husband. Date. M. Cool. Unprompted at the end of conversation. M. Thank you, mommy. H. Husband. I love it when you call me mommy. M. Calm down. Unprompted husband. I want to shatter your spine. M. These little goth queens break for you, my love. Husband. Yeah, I'm screenshotting that. M. I meant every single word of that sweet cheeks. Unprompted. M. Imagine having a sick fetish. Husband. Haha. M. Pretender. Unprompted. M. I'm gonna get you a little something for your birthday. Husband. I don't want your pocket female genitalia. M. Gross, I wasn't thinking about it. But since you mentioned it now, I have to. Husband. Death comes quickly and with a moan. Unprompted. M. Eat me out. Husband. Yes, ma'am. M. Open wide. Husband. Reacted with thumbs down. On a day we took turns checking on her when she was sick. M. Thanks for today, babe. Husband. Cheering you up is easy. M. Too kind, husband. Sending all my sexual and non-sexual love your way. And a ton of heart emojis. M sends this a few hours later. Woke up more afraid. I don't have any male friends, and if I did, I certainly wouldn't text them like this. Like this is literally only a portion of what I screenshot from less than a month of their texts. March 11th is the earliest date of one of the texts. They seem to be texting all the time. A whole lot more than either of them text me, though I am a bad texter. And I know for a fact they text a lot more than M communicates with her boyfriend of 8 years. I know there's obviously a comedic undertone, but a significant portion of their texts are intimacy, though most of them are normal. Does anyone else have experience with this? Do I broach this subject with my husband? How would I even do that? I thought I could turn to these two for anything, but this kind of makes me doubt it. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Do I bring up this subject with my husband? Absolutely yes. They are having an affair. If it's not already physical, it soon will be. This is not normal conversation between friends, especially when one of them is married. Comment 2. This seems like the texts my kid has with his significant other, who is 15. I would definitely talk to him about this because it seems extremely weird for an adult to be doing this. Now for the update. Thanks for tuning in again. So, the other day, I finally decided to confront my husband about the texts. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I waited until he got home from work, and the moment he walked through the door, I just blurted it out. I showed him the screenshots and asked for an explanation. He was shocked, to say the least, and he tried to laugh it off, saying it was all just jokes between friends. But here's where things got messy. He admitted that they had been texting like this for months, even before we got married. He said it started as an inside joke from college days with M, something about mocking overly dramatic couples they knew. But it didn't sit right with me. Why keep it going for so long? And why hide it from me? I couldn't help but think back to when we first started dating. Em was the one who introduced us, and I remembered how she would always be the life of the party, the center of attention. My husband was quieter back then, and I guess he liked that she brought him out of his shell. But I never knew they had this other side to their friendship. The next day, I called Em. I needed to hear her side of the story. She picked up, and I could tell she was nervous. When I asked her about the texts, she tried to downplay it, saying it was all harmless fun. But then she let slip that she had feelings for my husband back in college. She said she never acted on them because she didn't want to ruin our friendship. That hit me like a ton of bricks. All this time, and I had no idea. I was furious and hurt. I felt betrayed by both of them. I told them that I needed some space and hung up. My husband tried to apologize, saying he never meant to hurt me, that he thought I knew about their weird humor. But it was too much. I couldn't shake the feeling of jealousy and the sense of betrayal. I spent the night at my sister's place, trying to clear my head. She was as shocked as I was when I told her everything. She knew Em too, and she couldn't believe it either. We stayed up talking about the past, about how my husband and I met, and how Em was always around. My sister reminded me of a time when Em had gotten really drunk at a party and confessed to a group of us that she would always love my husband. I had completely forgotten about that night, but now it all made sense. The next day, I went home to find my husband packing a bag. He said he needed to stay with a friend for a while, to give us both some space to think. I agreed, feeling numb. As he left, he said he hoped we could work through this, that he didn't want to lose me. But as the door closed behind him, I wasn't so sure. I was left alone in the house we'd built together, surrounded by memories of a relationship that now felt tainted. I thought about the trust we had, how open we were with each other, and how that was all in question now. I felt like I didn't even know the man I married. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying everything in my head, trying to figure out where it all went wrong. I thought about confronting Em again, demanding answers, but what was the point? The damage was done. My husband and my best friend had crossed a line, and I wasn't sure if I could ever look at them the same way again. Thanks for sticking with me through this. My wife never initiated intimacy, and our marriage felt like a lie. So when I found her texting another man, I made sure she learned the true meaning of regret by exposing her affair and taking full custody of our kids. So my wife, when we started dating, had pretty regular intimacy, but I never really noticed that she never initiated with me. We have been together for 14 years, and we have 3 children, ages 3 to 8. Our intimacy life isn't as frequent, as passionate, or as satisfying when we do have it. I have tried many times to tell her that there is a large imbalance in our desire, and I have mentioned that she doesn't make me feel wanted. In other relationships, I didn't initiate 100% of the time. It was a mutual thing. Anyway, now I'm getting rejected often, and there isn't a time where she starts us off. If I had known this would end up like this, I would not have married her. I would have ended things before they got serious. My question is, I can't shut the box once it's been opened. Should I tell her this in hopes that things may change? Or if I don't tell her, how can I get this situation to change? We are otherwise happy financially, we get along, etc. I just feel like I am missing a large piece of my identity, and my needs aren't being met the way things are. Any advice would be appreciated. Edit. I hired a house cleaner about 5 years ago who comes once a week every Sunday. I spend at least an hour pre-cleaning the house so that the cleaner can focus on cleaning dirt rather than organization. Apparently, this detail is important to a lot of responders. She does the laundry, and it's a lot. I help fold it, but she has things that can't be washed, dried, or whatever. Edit 4. Holy crap, people. I'm diagnosed as significantly colorblind, and she cuts the damn tags off her clothes. Wow. Folding the clothes takes 45 minutes versus loading a machine. She pulls out particular items and line dries certain things. I literally can't keep track of her clothes and what each material is, and she can't just tell me a color. Jesus, Finn Christ. I don't know what's what, but I can fold and hang. I do all the dishes because there isn't anything special except I have to hand wash knives and non-stick. Edit 2. Further detail, she's a stay-at-home mom. The older kids are in school during the weekdays. The youngest one is with her, and he is the easiest of our 3 children. If you play with him and his trucks, he's on cloud 9. She is not cheating on me as far as I know, unless she is leaving the little one alone or with someone. I trust her completely. But even if I didn't, there just wouldn't be time. She does keep track of the kids' doctor's appointments, but she is the one that can take them. I work with the homework and sign the kids' assignment books, and I read all the school newsletters to know if the kids need something for school. I make sure their school iPads are charged, and their bag is packed each day. Edit 3. To clarify, I wasn't saying I would want to go back in time and erase what I have and my family, or the time we've had together. What I meant was if I was given vague details from a crystal ball, telling me before we started dating, you will marry her, you will be happy for a few years, have 3 kids, but you will be missing physical intimacy. You will feel like there is something wrong with you all the time after that is over. I would have broken things off before we got serious, before hearts would be broken. Update. I wrote this the night of our 10-year wedding anniversary. We had dropped the kids off at my parents' house to spend the night, and we spent the whole day together. I had planned a whole day together. We went to breakfast at her favorite local place. Afterward, we went to get a couple's massage. We went to lunch at the place where we went on our first date. We talked about our life together and looked at old pictures. In the afternoon, we took a walk around town and did a little shopping. We didn't really buy anything, it was just kind of looking around at stuff. We went to a nice restaurant for dinner, had a bottle of wine, and I gave her a card and some earrings that she had mentioned she liked a few weeks prior. But she didn't get a card or anything for me. I wasn't that bothered at the time. I am hard to shop for. I just wanted her to have a card and something nice. We get home and we are both trading I love yous. And anyway, she asks if we should go to bed. And it's like 10 o'clock. We typically go to sleep around 11. And I say yes, we go upstairs and she reveals that she has been wearing certain underwear, which she never wears. She takes them off and puts on a comfy pair in her pajamas and gets in bed. So at this point, I am a little confused, and I asked if she was okay. She said, originally I wanted to make love, but now I don't feel like it. I asked why, and she said she didn't know. I asked if she was mad at me. She said no. I got literally no feedback, just no thanks. It cut deep in that moment. We hadn't been intimate for about 3 weeks, and that night I was crushed. I wasn't owed anything, I get that. I think it would have been nice to get some feedback. It wasn't, I'm tired, I'm full, I'm mad at you. It was just nothing. We have been through so much together. We have had hard times, we have had good times. 10 years of marriage is a long time. We built a whole life together, and that made me question if she actually felt anything. And that's why I wrote what I wrote. I want to thank everyone for the positive comments that actually included advice. There were some things said that helped me process my emotions. As for the negative comments and the attacks, I must say that many in this community seem extremely toxic and could actually be damaging to a lot of people. If you are in a community where people are asking for advice, give advice. Don't sit on your high horse acting like you are better than people that may be having a personal crisis. Shame on you. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Reframe the same feeling to something that won't make her feel afraid and criticized? Because you're right, the way you phrased it here has the potential to go places you don't want to. Never threaten to leave someone you want to stay with. Don't even imply it. So maybe instead, this marriage is so important to me, but I really need to feel sexually desired. Please help me figure out how we can better connect sexually. I miss that feeling with you so much. What can we do as a couple to work on this? It would mean so much to me if you'd try with me, like centering the love and commitment without minimizing how much you want to change this. Comment 2. Why would you want to say, I would have never married you if your goal is for things to get better? It sounds like subconsciously you think. If you say one of the most hurtful things you could possibly say to your spouse, she will be so desperate to keep you that she will start to put out and do things the way you want. This feels so manipulative and icky. Recipe for disaster. Just go to counseling if you're not sure how to talk to her and handle this in a mature way. Hurting her emotionally in hopes she will make a change and behave the way you want is actually messed up. Now, for the update, thanks for sticking around for an update. So, after that anniversary night, things got even more complicated. A month later, my wife started acting distant, more than usual. She was on her phone a lot, and I mean a lot. I didn't want to be that guy, the one who snoops, but it was eating me up inside. One evening, she left her phone on the couch while she went to shower. I couldn't help myself, I looked. There were messages from a guy. Nothing outright, but enough to make my stomach turn. They were planning to meet up for coffee. I confronted her when she got out of the shower. She was furious, not because of the messages, but because I invaded her privacy. She said he was just an old friend, but I couldn't shake the feeling. Fast forward a week, and she admitted she had feelings for this guy, but nothing happened. She said she was confused and needed space. I was devastated. We agreed she would take the kids and stay with her sister for a while. I was alone trying to figure out where it all went wrong. But here's where it gets wild. Her sister called me 2 weeks into their stay, saying my wife was not herself and that I should come over. I found her crying, holding an old photo album. She confessed that she had been feeling lost, that she didn't know who she was outside of being a mom and my wife. She missed the passion in our relationship, but she was scared to initiate or express her desires because of past trauma that she had never told me about. She was ashamed and thought I would see her differently. We talked for hours. It was raw and painful, but it was also a breakthrough. We decided to start therapy, both individually and as a couple. It was tough, digging through all the layers of our relationship, but it was necessary. Then, just when things were starting to look up, my job announced they were downsizing. I was laid off. It felt like the universe was playing some cruel joke on us, but in a strange way, it brought us closer. We had to lean on each other, to support one another in ways we hadn't in years. Now, 3 months after that fateful anniversary night, we're slowly rebuilding. It's not perfect, but we're communicating, really talking about our wants and needs. I've started a new job and it's going well. My wife is exploring her interests, finding herself again, and our intimacy, it's a work in progress. But for the first time in a long time, it feels hopeful. Thanks for reading. My husband secretly donated sperm to strangers on Facebook for years. So I exposed his deeds to his boss and watched him lose everything. Hey guys, I'm going to have to anonymize some details, but I'll try and keep this as close to what happened as possible. Me, 34-year-old female, and my husband, 30-year-old male, have been together for almost a decade, dating 6 years, married 3. We're both rational, generally risk-averse people, and we love each other madly. I never would have expected there could be anything he would do to make me consider leaving the marriage. Until last week. One piece of important context. My husband, I'll call him Jeff, has a homosexual sister. I'll call her Lisa. Lisa and Jeff are 2 years apart. Lisa is older, but they're more like identical twins. Super close, and I swear they can read each other's minds. It's freaky. 4 years ago, right before Jeff and I got engaged, Lisa and her wife, let's call her Sarah, decided to start their family. They had a ton of problems with sperm banks. Too expensive, overly anonymous. And they were freaked out by that doctor who secretly impregnated his own patients. Bad stuff all around. So they ended up using a donor they found on a Facebook group. Jeff and I were fully along for the fertility journey, all the ups and downs. And Lisa and Sarah ended up finding a great guy. Kind of weird, but it worked for them. And now they have an incredible little goblin starting kindergarten next year. Fast forward to now. I just found out my husband has been donating sperm on these Facebook groups for the past 2 years. I was so devastated and furious when he finally came clean. I basically felt like he'd been cheating on me, and it was obviously a huge trust violation. Even worse, we've been trying to have kids ourselves, and so far, Nothing has worked. Our own fertility struggles are a huge stress, but I felt like we were going through it together. When he finally told me, I packed up my stuff and left to stay at my mom's. A few caveats that make the situation more complicated. He only donates to queer plus couples. He only does artificial insemination, no sex/physical contact. He doesn't keep in touch with the couple after, and he's not involved with the kid. It's fully just the mothers/couples. He asks not to be involved and at least claims that he doesn't know if any of the donation attempts worked. He says it's just genetic material, and that ever since his niece was born, he can't imagine life without her. That's the only part I can kind of understand. I love our niece too, and she only exists because some guy on Facebook decided to release in a cup. I sympathize with queer plus people who can't have kids without donors, but I absolutely can't see myself being involved with someone who might have kids I don't know about. Even if that means there might be families who don't conceive. He's begged me every day to come back, but I obviously can't face him or work through it so soon. I can accept that it's not cheating exactly, but I don't know if I'd see a way to get through this. The thought of leaving is unfathomable to me, but so is staying after what he did. He says the only reason he didn't tell me is because of my own struggle getting pregnant, and he didn't want to add to the stress. But that the important thing is he came clean. I obviously don't see that as justification for lying. I built my life with him, and I want to find some way through this. He says he'll do anything, but what can he possibly do to build back my trust? I'm so lost. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Okay, this is much messier than maybe you imagined, but this goes beyond the lying and deception, and could end poorly for him legally speaking, even if he had some sort of contract in place with these couples, which sounds like he probably didn't. Based on this ruling in Kansas, without a licensed physician, your husband doesn't qualify as a legal sperm donor. He can absolutely be sued for child support by any of these couples, and that puts your shared marital assets at risk. If it were me, I would reach out to an attorney and consider divorce. Comment 2. That's a pretty big thing to not share with a spouse. I wonder if he suddenly decided to tell you because there's something coming, lawsuits or news articles, that would make you find out. So he's trying to get ahead of it. I am in a same-sex relationship, and my wife and I didn't use a clinic for sperm donation. We used a website rather than Facebook, but there were no doctors involved. We did this due to the cost of the clinic route, but we did get contracts written up by lawyers and paid for STD testing. Did he at least follow those steps? Now, for the update. Hey guys, thanks for sticking with me through this. So, after I left to stay at my mom's, things got even messier. Turns out, Lisa knew about Jeff's little side gig the whole time. She was the one who suggested it to him after they had their baby. Said it was a way to give back to the community. I couldn't believe it. Lisa, who I've always been close with, kept this from me. She justified it by saying she didn't want to put me in a difficult position, knowing our fertility issues. But betrayal is betrayal. And this one stung deep. Then, one of the couples Jeff donated to reached out to me. They somehow found my contact info, and they had a news to drop. They had twins, and they were Jeff's. They wanted him to know, even though he'd said he didn't want involvement. They thought he deserved to know. I was reeling. Twins. My husband had twins out there, and I was still coming to terms with the fact that we might never have kids of our own. Jeff was desperate, saying he'd cut all ties with the groups, that he'd do counseling, anything. But how do you trust someone after a lie that big? I was torn between the love I had for him and the sheer magnitude of his deception. The aftermath was a hurricane of emotions. My mom, bless her, was a rock, but she was also furious on my behalf. She had always liked Jeff, but now she was seeing a side of him that none of us knew existed. She kept saying how she couldn't understand how he could do this to me, to us. In the midst of all this, Lisa's marriage started to crumble. Sarah found out Lisa knew about Jeff's donations and kept it a secret. They fought, loud and ugly, and it spilled over to a family dinner. Accusations flew, and Sarah said something about Lisa always protecting Jeff more than their own relationship. It was a mess, and I was in the middle, still trying to process my own heartbreak. I was angry, so angry with Lisa. She was supposed to be my sister, too, in all the ways that mattered. But she chose to protect Jeff over being honest with me. It felt like a betrayal from both sides, and it was hard to see how we could come back from that. Then, as if things couldn't get more complicated, Jeff lost his job. The company he worked for got hit hard by some financial crisis. And just like that, he was out. He was already low, and this just knocked him down further. He started to unravel, and I saw a side of him I'd never seen before, desperate, broken, and so sorry. I was at a crossroads. I could walk away, start fresh. But looking at Jeff, seeing him so vulnerable, I couldn't shake the love I still felt. I made a choice, one that some might see as weak or desperate. I decided to forgive him. Not forget, but forgive. We started counseling, and it was rough, digging through all the lies and hurt. Lisa and I were on shaky ground. I can't look at her the same way, not yet. Maybe not ever. But she's my family, and I can't just cut her out like a bad piece of fruit. We're working through it, slowly. Sarah and Lisa are trying to patch things up too, but it's going to be a long road for them. It's been, well, I'll just get into it, to say the least. I'm still here, still standing, and Jeff and I, we're trying. It's not perfect, and I don't know if it ever will be. But we're taking it one day at a time, trying to rebuild from the ground up. Thanks for reading, it means a lot. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.